I'm Anil Kumar, and here is a test question for you to state quadratic equation and sketch it. The question here is, state the quadratic equation in factored form from the given information. Sketch and label the graph for the equation. Information given to you is y-intercept is -3 and the coefficients are a equals to 2 and b equals to -1. I'd like you to pause the video, solve the question, and then look into my suggestions. Well, when we are given the information like coefficients and the y-intercept, we should begin with standard form of equation, which is y equals to ax square plus bx plus c, right? So what are we given? A as 2, that means a is 2, so it is 2x square, b is -1, so it is -x, and y-intercept is -3, which is c, right? So -3 is the value of c. So c, as you know, is y-intercept. If I substitute 0 for x, y equals to c. So that is how we get y-intercept. So this is the equation which represents this information in standard form. What we need to do? We need to state the quadratic equation in factored form. So let us factor it. To factor, we are looking for two numbers p and q, whose product should be 2 times -3, which is -6, and whose sum should be -1, right? So the two numbers are, so minus is more, so it is -3 and 2. So that should help us to factor. So let us factor this equation. We could write this as y equals to 2x square minus, we'll write this as combination of -3x plus 2x and -3. Group factoring, x is common, we have 2x minus 3. 1 is common, so we have 2x minus 3. Now you can factor 2x minus 3, getting x plus 1. So that becomes the equation in factored form. So let me write this as y equals to 2x minus 3 times x plus 1. So that is the equation in factored form. So we've done this part. Now let us try to sketch and label the graph from this equation. Now, once you have equation in factored form, you could find the x-intercepts, and from x-intercepts you get axis of symmetry, vertex, and the information required to sketch the graph. We already know y-intercept, right? So let's begin by finding the x-intercepts. So what are the x-intercepts for this equation? Each factor equated to 0. So 2x minus 3 equals to 0 will give you x equals to 3 over 2. The other factor is x plus 1 equals to 0, x equals to -1. So these are your two x-intercepts. And now what is the axis? Axis is average of these two. 3 over 2 is 1.5, you could write it like this. So we have 1.5 plus -1 divided by 2, right? So that is to say 0.5 divided by 2, or 0.25 becomes the axis of symmetry. So what we know here is that intercepts are at 1.5 and -1, and axis is at 0.25, correct? We also know that the parabola opens upward. So let us summarize the information which we have to sketch the graph, right? So let's write them one by one. So what we have is x-intercept is at x equals to -1 and 1.5. We know y-intercept is at y equals to -3. Axis is x equals to 0.25. And now let us find maximum value also. Now this graph, since the leading coefficient is positive, it opens upwards, so we'll have minimum value. So it is opens up, right? So we need to find minimum value. Now minimum value will be on the axis, so we can calculate the value of the function at 0.25. So let us write down y as equals to 2 times 0.25 minus 3 times 0.25 plus 1. So let's multiply this and find the answer, right? So we have one factor which is 2 times 0.25 minus 1, and the other factor is 0.25 plus 1 within brackets. When you multiply, you get this as approximately minus 3.125, right? Now with this information, we can clearly sketch the graph. So let us start sketching the graph now. Let us sketch the graph. What you should do is, you should actually take a graph paper and then sketch it. So we do have a vertex here. Minimum value is minus 3.125. Okay. So graph is opening upwards with minimum at minus 125 and both the vertices on either side of the axis. So what I will do here is that is my approximate coordinate axis. I'm just sketching like this, right? Now axis is at plus 0.25. So let us say this is the axis at plus 0.25, and then we have vertex at minus 3. So somewhere here, let us say this is the vertex, and we have y-intercept at minus 3. So this is minus 3.125. So slightly above this, we have the y-intercept. You see, minus 3.125, and this is minus 3. So we have a parabola which could be kind of like this. You get the idea, right? So that is how we could sketch it. And now we will say this point for us is minus 3, and that vertex is at 0.25 minus 3.125. Correct? And these are my two x-intercepts, which are at minus 1 and 1.5. And this is the y-intercept, and here we have the axis. So this is axis. Equation of the axis is x equals to 0.25. So let's label this. This is x-axis, y-axis. These 2 points are called the intercepts. So I'll just call them x-intercepts and label them. So we have x-intercepts, right? So x-intercepts are these 2 points, right? And we have y-intercept there, y-intercept, and that is this point is vertex. And as you can see, the graph opens upwards. So that is how you can actually sketch the graph, label it, and use all the information which we have just got. I hope that really helps you to understand the concept. Thank you and all the best.